children are.
Right now on the 10 o'clock news. A bumpy ride is in store for Rockaway residents. The MTA is suspending A-train service on the peninsula for 5 months.
We have the buses and stuff, but the A-train's reliable, so it's going to be tough.
The agency saying the headache is unavoidable. And this was no ordinary Sunday.
There is something inside of each of us that we don't realize we can do until we push a little harder, and then we find that there's greatness in us.
Tens of thousands of people are celebrating crossing the finish line of the New York City Marathon. And record-breaking early voting wraps up in the tri-state tonight. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are making their closing arguments to Americans before the election on Tuesday.
All right, welcome to the 10 o'clock news. I'm Arthur Chian.
And I'm Bianca Peters. It is an all-out sprint to the finish. Both candidates pulling out all the stops during these final hours before Election Day. Multiple national polls have the pair in a dead heat.
Fox 5's Duarte Giordino is tracking the campaign movement of both Vice President Harris and former President Trump and joins us with a look at their last-ditch efforts in multiple battleground states today. Duarte.
That's right, Arthur. Bianca. Vice President Kamala Harris was at Michigan State University making her final appeal to voters in that key state. And as a strategy, she never mentioned Donald Trump's name. Meanwhile, the former president was in Georgia where he pushed his tough on immigration message.
A new Des Moines Register and Mediacom poll of just 808 people in Iowa is sending shockwaves in the final days of the presidential election. It shows Vice President Kamala Harris with a 3-point lead over former President Donald Trump, though it does note a margin of error of 3.4%.
The polls are just as corrupt as some of the writers back there. I got a poll, I'm 10 points up in Iowa. One of my enemies just puts out a poll, I'm 3 down. Joni Ernst called me, everyone's called me, they said, you're killing it, Iowa.
John Wisniewski is a former New Jersey state legislator and political scientist. He believes the poll and Trump's response may indicate weakening support among his Iowa base.
Iowa is not always known as a Democratic bastion. So for Vice President Harris to have gotten that kind of recognition within that poll means there's something happening on the ground.
Both Harris and Trump campaigned hard on Sunday. Harris spoke at a black church in Michigan.
So, church, in just 2 days, we have the power to decide the fate of our nation for generations to come.
Trump held a rally in Pennsylvania.
And if you don't vote, you're stupid. You're stupid. 4 years of Kamala Harris have delivered nothing but economic hell for American workers.
An ABC News Ipsos poll shows Harris with a slim 3-point lead over Trump among likely voters, while a New York Times Siena College poll of 7 key swing states paints a more complex picture. Harris leads in Nevada, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Georgia, while Trump takes Arizona. The two are tied in Pennsylvania and Michigan, where they spend much of Sunday. Trump's main pitch, vote red to strengthen the economy and secure the border.
The day I take the oath of office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins.
Harris's main pitch, unite America and protect individual rights.
This moment in our nation has to be about so much more than partisan politics. You got this.
Harris also showed a lighter side. Did you see her on Saturday Night Live?
I don't really laugh like that, do I?
And about 75 million Americans have already voted, but still, more than half of all voters in the U.S., well, they're waiting to cast their vote on Tuesday. Arthur, Bianca.
Duarte, thank you very much. And on this final day of early voting, the New York City Board of Elections reports over 1 million people cast their ballots between October 26th and today, November 3rd. Between the 5 boroughs, Brooklyn had the largest turnout with more than 345,000 voters. There is no early voting tomorrow.
Meanwhile,